Hey y'all, and happy birthday, happy anniversary to everybody. So it is the last of our series of Enneagram and nutrition. And now we are going to talk about today the head center. These people are all up in their head. So the gut triad are the eights, nines, and ones, and they're all in their gut. The heart triad is all twos, threes, and fours. They're all up in their feelings. They're all Drake. And now we've got people that are up in their head. And so 5, 6, and 7. So let me talk to you a little bit about the head triad, also known as the thinking triad. And their dominant emotion is fear. So I talked about that, like the heart triad's dominant emotion was shame. This one is fear. And so those who belong to this triad use how they think to guide them in making their decisions. So they're not guided by their emotions. They're just very logical, and they run things in their head, and they often have a lot of tapes playing in their head. They tend to take a lot longer to make decisions, which can be frustrating when you're talking about nutrition. You're trying to go out to dinner with one of these people. And they tend to be really knowledgeable people who love to just delve into really interesting I'm known for just a higher understanding. They love to garner information. They want to know all the things. So 5s are part of it and they're often called the investigators, because they have a hunger to learn and an inclination to become knowledgeable on their topics. I like to call these people the Stoics, and they tend to hoard information, and they will not make a decision until they have enough. Their core fear or core vice is avarice or gluttony, because they're constantly worried that they're going to run out of resources. So from a nutrition perspective, I like to call these guys or girls the preoccupied eaters, right? They tend to get lost very deep in thought. Like I said, Stoics, they're easily preoccupied with complex ideas and inventions. They're great to have in your organization if somebody has like, a question of a problem that can be solved. They're the ones that like to think about how to solve it and will put the processes in place. So very important to have an organization. They often forget to eat or snack on quick and easy foods, and they often may be deficient in calories and nutrients. So, and they're these people too, the 5s, they get energy, more energy being alone. Being in a group of people drains them of energy. So they're often kind of going off for walkabouts or whatnot on their own. So instead they can use mealtime as a break or a time to be social, because food can bring people together, right? They can also practice becoming just fully aware in the moment. I'm pretty sure I said this about every single number, but we all can use food as a moment to really like taste the flavors and just be present, but certainly 5s especially. They can set timers to remind them when to eat, because again, they're often deficient in calories and nutrients, and prep healthy options that can be grabbed on the go quickly. So they always just have food at the ready. I've been spending the last few weekends with Cole and Todd helping them prep their food because, well, actually they're doing a great job, but Cole's trying to gain some weight, and I'm not exactly sure if he's a 5. I think he's too social for it, but in any event, we move on to our 6s, the Loyalist. They're very committed to friendships and remain loyal to those they cherish. Our very own Lori Bender is a 6. We actually have, I think, quite a few 6s. I don't know that we had any 5s. I think we once maybe did in our company, but making friendships with 6s is beneficial because they are kind and excellent problem solvers, but do not change one single thing in their day, because that will just throw them for the loop. Their core desire or their core fear is fear. Their vice. I call these the careful eater. So since they are so loyal and trustworthy, they like to have their decisions validated by others. They seek approval with what they eat. They have their favorite foods and their traditions that they cling to because they do not like change. Typically unwilling to explore foods outside of their upbringing or that's uncomfortable. And then even when they eat, when it's time to eat, even if they're not hungry, because that's the rules, and they're excellent rule followers. But instead, they can focus on listening to their own bodies. What do they want? What do they like? What do they feel like their body needs? Do they need more carbs? Do they need more fats? Do they need more protein? And then it's okay to trust your own judgment. Nobody knows what you need in your body like you, because you're in your body. And then lastly, we move on to our 7s. They're the enthusiasts. They're the fun seekers. They don't ever want to be tied down to one thing whatsoever. The most 7 we have, the most 7 I would say we have in our organization is our very own Suzanne Wood. And if you've had any opportunity to listen to her Wired Wednesdays or spoken to her or been interviewed by her, she just kind of gives you her energy. She's just got so much energy, just very big personality. They love having fun, adventuring through new experiences, and they are highly enthusiastic people. They have a huge talent, and this is so true for Suzanne, a huge talent for bringing friends together and showing them how to have a good time. They're often the life of the party, and they're famous for being adrenaline junkies. So the 7s, the enthusiasts, also their vice is gluttony. We call them the extravagant eater. They're so extroverted, high energy, and playful. They can become scattered and think sometimes irrationally, just all over the place. They want one of everything. Take them to a buffet. They don't want to just have one thing. They want one of everything or a bite of everything. They want fun and tasty food, regardless of nutrition. They can be prone to overeating or overestimating hunger. They also are really, with that kind of gluttony, their palates are very mature, or I guess I'm not exactly sure, very just refined, and they just want things that are just giving them this amazing experience. So all the tastes, all the smells, all the flavor, all the experience. And they also may sometimes make childish food choices, or they can feel easily deprived if they're not allowed to just eat what they want. So instead, they can start to practice on the appreciation for simple things in life, simplicity in their meals. Simple can be flavorful and enjoyable. Our taste buds change according to what we eat. So eating too much of anything, especially the ones, Suzanne's an incredibly healthy eater, but oftentimes 7s are not, because they don't want to be ruled by what they should or should not do, and they want to taste everything. And so eating too many processed foods causes you to crave more. So just making some small changes. Don't just cut it out, because they will feel deprived, and they do not want to feel deprived. And then just crowd them out by adding in simple, healthy foods. So that's it for your Enneagram and nutrition. I hope you have an amazing weekend, and you guys up in the mountains stay warm and be distinctive.